8th of February, a bit shivery today, but I thought I'd come down and finish off the pruning for the soft fruits and see how some of the overwintering greens are getting on. These gooseberries have now been in, this will be their 3rd year. First time I've grown these purple sprouting broccoli, and I planted them last year, quite a long time ago, last spring. Now finally I'm getting some of the purple sprouting bit on them. The bay bushes, I bought these, I bought them as hedging plants, and these have actually come up nice and starting to grow up a bit more, reaching about 5 foot now. Right, the new targets for the fruit trees has been to put the agricultural grade gypsum, so they've got plenty of magnesium. I've dug in some rotted horse manure, but not too much, and apparently what you should do with these fruit trees in bare soil like this is put some garlic around them. So I've put some garlic planted around it, sprayed them, and this year's spray has been made out of bicarb with some detergent, and I have used a little bit of an antifungal agent only because I've noticed with plums that they're not hardy. Pear trees, of course, the pear rust came to where I live in the UK with a vengeance last year, picked all of the affected leaves off. I always keep these pear trees, they're on a graft, but I'll keep them no taller than myself, so just below 6 foot, and that way you can control them. Size isn't everything when it comes to apples on a graft. This little beauty here, only 4 foot high, but my goodness, the boughs are absolutely laden with fruit last year, so I'm always wary of letting things grow too tall. This one I've got lots of side shoots, as you can see, and then you've got your little spurs where you're going to get your fruits. Every plot should have some strange plants. This one's called mullein, and it used to be used for making candle wicks back in the day, back in Anglo-Saxon England, really before sort of cotton came along. And so every sort of herb in those days had its sort of uses, and it also could be used for tinder, for lighting fires. So I love all that stuff about herbs, but look how tall it grows. While I've been coming down over the winter, I've also been taking the odd beetroot, and they've grown extremely well here. Good time of year now, January and February. I've noticed quite a few of the discount places like Tesco's, etc. have been selling, and B&M have been selling dwarf rootstock fruit trees. Dwarf rootstocks are usually the only ones that are allowed on allotments unless they're already established fruit trees. Good time of year to get something. This is a russet apple I got a couple of years ago. I came down to this side and most of this fence was sort of like hanging at an angle of, you know, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, so I just went for the basic option. Probably goes back to my camping days, you know, at school. Well, we went in year 7, long time ago now, and basically I've got gone for the guy rope idea. The only trouble is, of course, you can trip if you're not looking where you're going, and my little Robinson Crusoe shelter at the end there, that was all fallen down, but I've done a kind of like a Heath Robinson job and repaired that on this side. You can just quickly see, looking down the line from here, that's all my raspberries. I haven't got round to pruning them yet. Apparently you can wait quite late, even as late as March, to thin them out, and the pruning guide I've got just recommends really thinning out the weaker ones and leaving about a dozen on each, you know, large one, which to keep going. And at the back there you can see all that work I've got to do behind the raspberry canes. The low plants there are all virtually gooseberries. There's some red currants there and black currants at the end, so that's the next job. And I've got my rotting manure waiting for me down the bottom there with the gypsum. So all good stuff on the clay soils. Gypsum, by the way, is agricultural grade gypsum. It also contains magnesium, which this soil could do with the fruit. Well, there's another weather front coming in off the northwest. It's freezing cold down here. I can feel it's going right through to my marrow, my bones. I admire all you lot for putting your stuff on in January. I just had to repair my storm damage. I just wasn't in the mood. But now that it's slightly more bearable, I'll try and keep updated, and I'll be watching your stuff as well. So thanks for watching. See you then.